Hi, it's Ms. Herkler again. Okay, for today's assignment, we are going to review a little bit about the graffiti project. And so we looked at this image in the classroom, and perhaps you saw this image hanging up in the classroom from the previous teacher, Ms. Ulrich. And with this, we want to revisit the idea of graffiti by looking at some graffiti lettering. Perhaps you can download them and print them, but if not, you can use your computer. And you can see that I have some images up on my computer, and you can sketch by using that as a source of inspiration. Or if you can print it, you can put it up to the window and put the lettering behind, and then try to trace the lettering from behind the image onto the paper with pencil. You can try it on the computer, but I wouldn't do it on your computer with a Sharpie, and I wouldn't use a very sharp pencil. But if you keep it far enough away and you gently sketch on there, you can do that. What I'm going to go over with you today is that you're going to put a few letters in and try to place the letters in, put a pattern down here, and I'm going to just sketch out some simple letters in pencil. And then I'm gonna thicken them up. And I want to have exaggerated marks. I want to really develop those letters so they're almost sculptural. And that's something that we talked about in the last video, going from 2-dimension to 3-dimensional work. And I think it's something I really want you to play with. So I'm not following any particular lettering style, but I'm just making up my own with you right now. However, on the left-hand side of every letter, I'm going to build up the letter, and I'm going to put some shadow in on the left-hand side. And that's something that we discussed last time. I make very light marks, build up, and then find the lines that I want to keep. I could erase the other lines later if I don't want to keep them. And in doing that, I really allow for sketching and playing with the letter and the mark. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, all of these exercises are just warming us up. Some of you haven't been in an art class since March, and that's a long time. I'm an artist, and I like to play with the idea of sketching in my sketchbook, in my journal. I doodle, and that's something we've talked about before too. I love the idea of doodling, and doodling as a warm-up. Not to say you can't develop something that is interesting and something that you can turn into a work of art. So play with it. And artists do that from time to time. Play with ideas until one of them really pops and strikes your interest. Once you find a shape that you like, outline the shape and really give it a little cloud. And what happens is it lands that graffiti and really gives you this white space. Now remember, in your art kit you have a nice white art pencil eraser, and that eraser will not rip up this fancy paper. Okay, that's another thing. In your art kit, you have the sketchbook, but you also have some plain paper. And the good paper, you can cut it in half if the large size is too large for you, and you should be using a sheet of your good paper. Now, once you have your letter developed and once you have your 4 sketches done in your sketchbook, you're going to choose one word and then put your word on your sheet of paper, use your pencil, put your cloud, and then think about the designs that will go behind your word. So I told you that I like those swirly shapes, and I like the idea of the Zentangle. And if you look at my computer over here, I have a bunch of these Zentangle ideas. And the ideas are just inspiration. You can have marks on here that will look like a checkerboard, and that's okay if you like that sort of style. Next week, we will go in and put some marks in here and thicken up the lines and really go in there and develop that strong style that you find in graffiti. Really strengthen that cloud shape, and then think about those patterns that we would like to put in the background. So I like to start with a pencil mark, and so with some Zen Doodle designs, they encourage you to start with the ink first, and you don't need the pencil. But for us, I think the pencils and the pencil marks are useful guidelines for right now. So don't be afraid to use that pencil to guide you through. So that's it for now. Remember, look for graffiti lettering for sources of inspiration. We're going past that last lesson where we thought about 3D, 2D to 3D, and shapes and texture. And we're going past that now to create some designs in the background and to think about creating space in the background and texture in the background, including patterns. So that's all for now. Bye-bye, my artists.